For this tutorial, we'll get started working on a postcard, Christmas postcard. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have File New. And under File New, I'm just going to go under Photo. We are going to use a default. It's a postcard, so it's a 7x5. And we leave everything there. I'm just going to put postcard and then press OK. Also, I'm going to do a new one. And this new one, that's where I'm going to get my design. So I'm going to use a 4x1. That's going to be our pattern, and then leave it at 300 and press OK. Now here I'm going to get my rectangle tool and make sure I don't have a stroke, but I do want a fill. I'm just going to put whatever color. I'm just going to keep it in green for right now, and I'm just going to click anywhere. Once I click anywhere, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 IN by 1 IN. 1 inch by 1 inch. Make sure you do press IN, because if it's not, it's going to assume it was pixels. It will just give you 1 pixel by 1 pixel. I'm going to get my move tool, and I'm going to go ahead and move my move tool and put it there on the corner. Now I'm going to go ahead and press Ctrl J and go one more time, and notice that I'm just attaching it to this next one. One more time, Ctrl J, and I'm just going to one more time attach it to that one there. So the main thing here is I'm going to leave this one, but I'm going to remove this one. So I want to have color, white, color, white. Alright. So on the very first one, I need to make sure you get the first rectangle. Click it. Just go to File, Place Embedded. And I'm going to get the glitter. Alright. And then on my glitter, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. It was too small, so I'm just going to make it bigger and press OK. Now remember that I'm going to right click and create clipping mask. So now it's inside our box. You decide where you want to put it. I'm just going to leave it somewhere there and there. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this one now and go to File, Place Embedded, and click on my red glitter. My red glitter is seeing things a little bit too small, so I'm just going to go a little bit bigger, check mark, and one more time right click, create clipping mask, and there you go. Once I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure this is a pattern, so I'm going to define it as a pattern, and I'm just going to put Christmas pattern and press OK. I really don't need this anymore, so I could just remove it, and then I don't need it, so I'm just going to press no. So what we just created was a pattern. So over here in your non-adjustment layer, I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to click on patterns. And on my pattern, I'm going to go ahead and click here, and notice that at the very end is right here. So I'm just going to click it. There you go. And here's where I could always maneuver my scale and my angle. I'm going to put -45, so I'm going to put it diagonal, and I'm going to put my scale to 30, and that looks really good. So I'm just going to keep this and press OK. Now remember that you could always change it. You could always just double click here and just move it, make it smaller, make it bigger. It's up to you. I'm going to keep it at 30, but yes, you do have that option. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on my rectangle tool one more time. I'll keep that green. Click anywhere. And I'm going to go with 4.5 by IN by 6.5 IN. And then press OK. Oops, my bad. I want you to rotate it. It should have been the other way, right? 6.5 IN by 4.5. And I'm just going to put it on the center. Notice that on the center, just give me those purple lines. File, Place Embedded. Oops, check mark. File, Place Embedded. And I'm going to look for my paper. And I'm just going to press OK. And I'm going to scale it right on the dimension and then press check mark. Once I do that, I'm going to right click, create clipping mask. So now it's inside our clipping mask. Alright, that looks real good. My next step is I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to place embed our postcard. And I'm going to make my postcard smaller and I'm going to put it on the corner here, and then press check mark. Notice that we have a white background, so I'm just going to remove the background by clicking on my blend mode and changing it to multiply. And notice that our dimension already changed. Alright, so the next part I want to do is I'm going to get my rectangle tool, and I'm going to click anywhere again, and I'll leave this 100 pixels, but I will be changing this to 150 pixels. Okay, PX, and then press OK. And I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to press Ctrl J and move it a little bit more further out there. Now this one I do want to change the color. You decide the color. I'm just going to go ahead and get a red color. So I have two stamps, different colors. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and file, place, embed it, and I'm going to file, place, embed our postage. I'm going to make this one smaller, and make sure you put it right on top of it, and then check mark. Now notice, remember, everything's about layers, so my layers, make sure I put it underneath. That way I could see that I still need to make it a little bit more smaller, and press shift. That way you could just stretch, and there you go, press check mark. I'm going to duplicate, Ctrl J, and I'm going to put it to the other side of my other stamp. So there you go. So we have two stamps. I'm going to go ahead and click on my windows, and I'm going to look for shapes, and I'm going to look for my snowflakes. Now you might not see this, guys. If you don't see this, make sure you have this little three lines or hamburger slice, and make sure you go to let you see shapes and more. That way you could have that folder, because by default you won't have it. Alright, and then I'm just going to search for snowflakes and select whichever you like, and I'm just going to drag it and put it there. You will need to change the color, so I'm just going to change the color, press enter, make it white, and make it fit. There you go, check mark. I'm going to look for a pine tree. Okay, so I'm going to look for a tree now, and here it is. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to put it here. And same thing, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller, and check mark, and then white. Check mark. There you go. So now I have my little stamps, but now I need to put the line that it's already being sent, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a line, and my line, make sure I have a no fill. I'm going to get the stroke, and I'm going to get this little color picker, and I'm going to color pick my anywhere here on that Santa Claus. My stroke will be 3. And notice that I'm just going to go ahead and do a straight line by pressing shift, hold shift, and then do a straight line. And there you go. Alright, so make sure you do that. Now I need to wave this. And the easiest way to wave it, go to filter, distort, wave. It will ask you, you need to convert this as a smart object, press convert to smart object, and play around with these numbers. It's a little hard, there's no preview, that's the only problem, there's no preview, but I put these numbers, there's 3, a 60, and an 80, 99, 100, 20, and 15. Once you do that, press OK. And you'll notice that now you have a real nice curved kind of like if they stamped it, right, that it's already been sent. I'm going to change the opacity to 75, That way it does look more like it is. Let's go with a 50. 65. 60, sorry. 60 will make it. And then Control J, bring it down. Control J, bring it down. Alright, that looks good. Alright, now it's being shipped, right? It was being shipped. Alright, so now let's go ahead and let's create another rectangle. So here where we're going to put our picture on this side. And I need two rectangles. Alright, so one is going to be my design, and then the other one will be our inserting the picture. Alright, so I'm going to keep this stroke, no fill, but I am going to add a 30 pixel stroke. Alright, so I'm going to click anywhere, and my dimension is going to be 2.75 IN by 3.5 IN. And I'm going to press OK. And now notice that right now the line is in the center. I'm going to go where properties is at, and I'm going to change my properties, this little section, to the last one. And now notice that the outline starts from this first all the way to this part. Here's this is considered my frame. And on my frame, I'm going to go ahead and click on the little pattern, right? The little adjustment. Click on your pattern. And on my pattern, I'm going to go ahead and click on the one that we created. Same thing, negative. Let's go with a 15, make it smaller. Negative 45, and then press OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and right click, create clipping mask. And there you go. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and click again my rectangle, but this time I don't want a stroke. I do want to fill. Doesn't matter the color. I'm just going to go with whatever color there is, and then click anywhere again. 2.75 IN by 3.5 IN, and then press OK. Once I have this, I'm going to go ahead and put this one right on top of this, right? So that's where it is. And this is going to be where my photo insert will be at, right? That's where I'm going to insert my picture. So I'm going to go ahead and press File, Place Embed. I'm just going to get a picture, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on top. Press check mark. Once I press check mark, this is going to be right click, create clipping mask. And remember that you have the option to move your picture wherever you want to. Alright. One more time, File, Place Embedded, and I'm just going to add this little Christmas bowl. You don't have to, it's optional. I'm just adding a little bit more to it, and there you go. And then press check mark. That looks real nice. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get our text tool, and let's start typing. Alright, Merry Christmas. I'm going to go to Windows, Character. I'm going to make this a little bit more bigger. I think that looks good. Merry Christmas there. I'm going to go get my line tool, and I don't want a stroke. I don't want to fill. I do want a black stroke. 2 pixels will be good. And I'm going to click and hold Shift, and I'm just going to do a line. And this line, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. Control J. And one more time, Control J. So now this is going to be our address, right? Where are you going to ship it to? Who are you going to send it to, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and put to to YouTube, right, or somewhere, right? YouTube users. Make it smaller, guys. There, you want to change the font, you want to change anything. Remember, I feel that it's better to use a real nice font, right? And then I'll change it back to black. Or you decide, it doesn't have to be black, right? It could be any other color. I'm going to press Ctrl J. And I'm just going to put South Main Street, Ctrl J, and Y. I think that's the code. I really don't know the code. And there you go. So this is to who you want to send it to, right? Also, I'm just going to add another text. If you want to change this, I'm going to change my leading to 36. I think that looks good. And there you go. So this is my little Christmas. Hope you like it, guys. Anything, just let me know. All right. This is almost my first videos doing as a YouTuber.